Good morning. Today I've come back to Patong Beach and I want to talk about my experience in the tsunami. It was about 19 years ago at Christmas, or Boxing Day in fact. We were staying not far from the beach and I just thought I'd take you through some of the things I saw on the first and second few days afterwards. Okay, some of the experiences. You might find it interesting, hope so. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Hidden World. I'm John.
I'm India's son.
And we'd like you to join us on our adventures and travels and show you how we like to travel the world.
Which is, of course, the proper way.
If you like our video, please like and subscribe in a normal way. That would be much appreciated.
And we hope you enjoy the show.
So, I've come back to the location of the room I was in when the tsunami occurred. It is up there on this one. Okay, on that second floor. Okay, this was the hotel which is now turned into something else. Looks like a little bar or something. The water was up, if you can see the brown line there, the water level was there, and there was motorbikes sort of kind of washing down the street, bodies, jet skis, God knows what else. On the day it happened, the receptionist was a Katoy or ladyboy, and she kept banging the door, sort of screaming and shrieking. I thought, like Thai people mess about a lot and joke, so I thought it was someone messing about, so I kind of ignored it. Then I looked out of the window and it was like blinding sunshine coming in, so it was about like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I couldn't really see anything. And then I pulled the curtain back and had another look out and heard all the sirens, and you could see the water, which was really deep. Yeah, and it quickly like subsided the level lower, and we came out and it's just debris and probably walking up to our waist in water along this street, which is quite hard to believe now looking at it. But you can imagine if that volume of water come rushing through the street, what would happen today with the motorbikes. So I've now moved from the hotel where I was out onto Second Road, and this actual street is quite a wide street. I suppose it's a good half a kilometre maybe from the sea, and as you can see you've got Christian Sophie massage over there. I won't explain what that is, I'm sure the adults that have been to Thailand would know. Here in the street the water wasn't quite so deep, I suppose it was like thigh deep. There was still like jet skis and stuff that had come all the way up from the beach bobbing about in it, and debris, and there was cars piled up, so the water had rushed through here. All sorts of water, was murky brown sewage colour, so it wasn't very nice, but we actually set out down this way to go and look for our friend who's staying in a hotel near the beach, and we had a couple of friends, Thai friends, and they'd lost, or they didn't know where their friends were, and they actually had little rooms down near the beach, so they asked us to help them find them as well, so that's what we did. So opposite me is Soy Bangla. That was actually waist deep in water. As you'll see when we went down it looks very different these days, but we went down to Soy Bangla. We started walking down there. Our friend's hotel was further down there, right on the seafront, and the other people's we had lots of friends that owned bars and stuff like that, so we kind of wanted to check them out and check out what had happened. There was like kind of waist deep, as I said, it was waist deep in water, chest deep in places. So behind me we have Tiger Complex. It's one of the bigger complexes. Previously it was opposite, on the opposite side of the road, over there. Okay, so it has completely changed. This was just kind of right off. Okay, it was just like chairs floating about and all sorts. It was absolutely like not demolished, but yeah, there's water way up to the top of the bars that you can see there. Sorry, his head's in the way. So this is Soy Bangla, and we actually had a meal down in this place. It's a Eurasian restaurant. We actually had like Indian food the night before, and we were out, come out, enjoy ourselves. Little would you know, the next day it would be devastated. And I think the fact it was Christmas actually added to the effect of like it was almost like people enjoying themselves Christmas, and you couldn't understand whether it was like a punishment from God because of the sort of place it was, or like it was weird it would happen on Christmas. It sort of made it hard to believe in any sort of religion afterwards, the sort of things that had happened. Okay, where we'd sat and it had all been fun and like a party, the next morning obviously the places that we knew and kind of enjoyed going out in were demolished, and there was like bits of Christmas decoration just fluttering in the sun. Now this in front of us is Soy Sea Dragon, and it's actually called Soy Sea Dragon, so it's got the dragon up there, but it's actually changed a lot. It was a lot more rustic. It didn't have a roof previously, and we actually came down here probably a week afterwards. Our friend's bar was down the end where I'm just taking you now, on the left. Now they've all changed into go-go bars. It was a lot different. It was a bar with a band in, very rustic, called a Coyote Bar. He was called Frederick, and we actually eventually completely cleared this old soy means road, of all the rubble that was in it, and yeah, it was quite, I mean, this was, I suppose, up to waist deep in water, if you can imagine. His little bar was probably only one shot front wide. But yeah, if you imagine once the water was gone, anything that you see here, like tables, chairs, and these things that they play a game with, knocking nails in, glasses, anything that was in the way, was kind of smashed to bits or damaged. Okay, in this car park out the back there was actually cars piled up one on top of the other, probably 2 or 3 high. Okay, I will insert some pictures when I can. I believe the unit where Frederick's bar would have been one of these 3, but I can't remember as it was so long ago which one. It used to be a great bar, we had a really great band in it, we used to have a lot of fun there. And yeah, managed to actually get that place open quite quick, so he didn't lose his business. I don't know what happened to Frederick. I'm sure he's about somewhere. Frederick, if you're about, give us a like and put a comment. One of the more harrowing kind of things was these kind of buildings along here. As you can see, they're all open fronted, and although it was early in the morning, there was still lots of workers around cleaning up from the night before, because it had been a really late night, remember, because it was Christmas Day, and I suppose it's one of the busiest days of the year. You can kind of see that a wave coming straight over from just there, it's the size of a house, going at 140 miles an hour. You can kind of imagine the damage it's going to kind of cause in a place like that. And lots of the fronts of these buildings were kind of completely damaged. Our friend was fine, although he was in a hotel down the front. He was blocked in the back of his hotel. And it turned out he survived quite finely, didn't get injured or anything. Maybe it might have affected his mentality for a bit, because something like that would, okay, it's not an easy thing to kind of comprehend or understand. Just being here is like, well, why were we not on the beach, which we might have been if it had not been Christmas Day, that we stayed out late and we were still in bed. Okay, there's lots of stories like that, the people that kind of would have had near misses. There's a guy, an old guy, that used to sell pies to English tourists, and he used to walk up and down the beach, and he said every other day of the year he would have been on the beach when the tsunami happened. So it was quite interesting that you hear these stories again and again. And it's also interesting, they didn't get a lot of dogs or animals washed up, and the elephants actually stampeded away from the coast. So they must have felt the earthquake that was off of Indonesia. They must have felt it through their feet, or had sixth sense of animals, but there wasn't a lot of these injured. Some of the more infuriating things that I saw during that time, on the actual day of it, once the water subsided, you were left with rubble, cars piled on top of each other, piles of motorbikes, bodies, whatever you name it. Okay, there was around this way, this area, I'm not sure which one it would have been, but there was a jeweller's shop, and I just remember the Thai people, some Thai people were actually just scrabbling around in like mud, sand, silt, whatever you want to call it, digging for gold, basically, because their shop had been demolished, and they would take it, I suppose it's like opportunists, taking every opportunity they can to get wealth where others were suffering. But then I suppose gold dealers do make a fair bit of money, but that doesn't make it right. When there's bodies buried and people lost, it kind of made me feel really, really upset. One of the other things that really upset me during that time was there were like trucks bringing drinking water around for people that were helping look through rubble and the workers, and there was kind of tourists coming down taking pictures, and I saw this big American guy who obviously lived or was staying in a place out of Patong, out of harm's way, and he was actually grabbing the free water off the back, thinking it was his lucky day, which really annoyed me. There was also people taking pictures standing in our way, just actually stopping us doing work or whatever we were doing at the time. This place is a new building, this has all been rebuilt. A lot of this was demolished. Yeah, there was big boats washed up on the beach, and you might see a big boat out there. It's like a big boat. Yeah, and I think the water level with the wave kind of got to the canopy of the palm trees. So this is a kangaroo bar. It was one of my favourite haunts at the time. Still going back there, it's lovely, but it's now changed into two shop fronts. It's much bigger than it was, and at the time when we come down here, as I say, it was still waist deep in water. The fridges were all turned over, you can see out the back they've got some. Once we'd actually done kind of things as much as we could help with in the emergency situation, we did actually help clear some friends' bars out. We had a friend in that bar called Penny, and the bar was actually called the Blue Lotus Bar. I don't know if she's still around, I doubt it, but it's changed owners, they all change owners very quick. But the Blue Lotus Bar was actually this one, and we helped clean that up and get it back up and running. Done a bit of building work in there and stuff like that. And I believe there was another one along here called the U2 Bar, which we quite liked. Through here, this was an open bar, an open soy before, and down the far end there were some little one single unit houses, and our Thai friends lived in one of them with her friends, and we went in there. Literally, it was, luckily a friend wasn't in it, but it was actually up to your neck in water, and we did go hunting about in there to see what we could find, make sure the friend wasn't there. Okay, everything they owned was floating and absolutely useless, so it was quite horrific really to see that. But that was the situation over lots of, I suppose, all over the countries around Asia that were affected by the tsunami at the time. So as you can see, the McDonald's opposite, okay, that was one of the harrowing kind of things there. You can see all these big trucks all along seafront. I mean, they're actually quite big cars. They all kind of piled up. There was a lot of young people, unfortunately, didn't make it in McDonald's, the workers. As I say, the cars all piled up, so everything that you can see along this, it is busier now, but mountains of cars, 3 and 4 high, just piled up on top of each other. So you can see the power of the wave. Okay, so I'm standing here, I'm now on Patong Beach. Okay, it's quite a big beach, beautiful place. Okay, it used to feel really safe. I wasn't really keen to come to the beach for months afterwards, which is strange because we still live pretty close to it. Now, on the day of the tsunami, although I didn't see it, I've seen videos of it and stuff like that, the sea suddenly disappeared. Okay, it went right out a long way. The tide just kind of disappeared, and apparently the kids that were on the beach, they all kind of run forward, picking up fish that were just flapping around in the now disappeared sea, and people were kind of standing there going, well, how amazing, the sea's just disappeared. Okay, unfortunately what comes next is a wave at about 120 miles an hour, and if you imagine it's not just a breaker like you get on a normal beach, it would be a wall of water coming through practically the whole bay. Okay, it's one continuous big wave of water, so it's huge. And on this beach, which is quite wide at the moment because the tide's quite out of fairway, okay, you can imagine what would happen to all these deck chairs and anything else that was in the way, the small boats, the jet skis, yeah, even boats of this sort of size and distance were washed up everywhere. So it was quite a thing. And as I say, we didn't really want to come down the beach for quite a long time afterwards. And it's strange being on one of the best beaches in the world. And as for Thai people, the Thai people actually, I don't know, I think it's different now, but for a long time we used to say to them, oh, you're coming down the beach? And they'd be like, there's no way they're going down the beach because it's full of dead people. So they actually thought anybody on the beach swimming or anything like that were just actually ghosts, because they're very much into their kind of supernatural superstitions. Yeah, even afterwards, for a couple of years afterwards, I was often asked if I told any Thai person I was in Tsunami or at Patong at the time, they would actually ask me, are you a ghost? Which is quite amusing, I suppose, in retrospect. So after the tsunami, Phuket City Council, or whatever you'd call them, they actually then decided to put in loads of anti-tsunami kind of measures and safety features, and I'm not really sure how effective they'd be as such. We've got all these signs up that say like tsunami evacuation route, but I think if you've been here a day, you're going to know to run away from the sea. Okay, but there's lots of different kind of bits and pieces in place. They've got like early warning systems. I don't know if they've got something out at sea that actually warns when a wave's coming along before it gets here. I know they've got sirens up around the town, and there's like roads that have got evacuation route written in them. Yeah, I mean, that was the first tsunami I think for 120 years in Phuket, so it's not a common occurrence. But being nature, I mean, it doesn't mean it's been 90 years, doesn't mean it can happen again at any time. And it could be absolutely catastrophic if it was at a different time of day when people are on beaches. So the reason I'm at this intersection here is that we came here to eat, because this place is a bit higher than sea level. There wasn't any, it was open for business, so we came here to eat during the day of the tsunami, and we're sitting here, and there was loads and loads of bikes, because I suppose there wasn't a lot of places that you could go to eat, and there was another tsunami warning. Kind of, you know, you get this hysteria that happens, and basically everybody just jumped on their motorbikes, not me, but loads of other people, Thai people, they just jumped on their motorbikes, and they were just pressing the start buttons and going off at full throttle without any think of where they're going, and people are crashing into each other, and it's actually the panic that seems to cause a lot of deaths and a lot of injuries as well. And look, you know, you see scared people, but when you see this kind of fear in people, hysterical fear, it's got a very different look. On the day of the tsunami and the following days, many people came up on this hill which leads out of Patong Beach, and they were camping all along the sides of the road, both sides, this side, as you can see, all down there, and all the way up there, because there's many suggestions there was going to be like further tsunami waves coming. Okay, and yeah, so the people like camping up here, obviously the properties destroyed down near the beach, and it was quite common for a few days afterwards. If you come up this way, you see loads of makeshift shelters along this side of the road, despite it being really busy now. It was still busy back then, but yeah, it's something I quite kind of remember, just all these something like little makeshift shelters set up, and Thai people used to make it like a party. So even at night time, when you come up here, they're kind of sitting there drinking something Thai whiskey, even though they've lost lots. You know, they're sitting there eating and drinking and kind of chatting, and yeah. So one of the most gruesome things I saw during the whole tsunami experience was I came across this resort, sort of private beach resort, and one of these roofs was kind of in the pool on top of a car, and scattered around the ID cards from Thai people that they have to carry everywhere. Young people, 16, 17, and at that point there's no telling who was in the swimming pool. I guess all the workers. It was quite horrible. And the second most awful thing was at Kamala. I came across the lake, and actually were there trying to identify people, and there's divers in the lake trying to pull out bodies, and all the local villagers were standing around this lake as they pulled out cars and bodies, sort of praying that it wasn't their relatives. Okay, this house, 2055, off of Nano Road, is where I stayed for most of the time after the tsunami. Hired the house, tin, and that's where we kind of stayed. And it's very different now. It used to look quite nice actually. It was a white, it had a white front before. Had a white front, it was all white, and this was all jungle up behind me. And yeah, and then we had a carport under there. I don't know what happened to that. It looks completely different, to be honest, but this was the one. And yeah, it's changed quite a bit, to be honest. But yeah. I didn't want this video to end in a negative way. So as you can see now, from Patong Beach, 19 years on, it's thriving, it's busy. All the tourists are back, everything's rebuilt. If anything, it's too busy. It was a mad experience. Feels like yesterday still. Hope you've enjoyed a few kind of memories of it. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, happy travels and goodbye.